I guess we'll try again. Apparently it cut me off totally. It couldn't get access to the internet or data. So I turned it off and turned it on again, and it just wouldn't get access to the data. It closed me off from that. It's always interesting to see what technology is doing of satanic things when you're trying to, always seems to be weird things happening with technology. Anyway, so we came to this little thing here, and let's see if the picture is working. What is happening on the screen? That doesn't look like my video. Well, it's look black, There's a black picture with nothing. Okay. Well, I'm on the website, the rt.com website, but apparently now my screen can't be seen either. It's kind of weird, Let's try to just. Could it be something in regards to the Tor browser that has some security or something? I'll just jump out of it. Okay, we can see the screen. Okay. But we're not allowed to see the Tor browser, or what? When I try to record. Let's try again. How in the world could that be? Yeah, it's just black. Well, I'm reading here. That's weird because the recording shouldn't have anything to do with the application. Oh, we can do it. That's nice. Is there like some kind of security bullshit feature that makes it so you can't record the screen? Site permissions, camera blocked by Android. No. Ask to allow block. No, that's not it. Autoplay, assistance. I can't see anything in this application. How in the? Oh, I hate things like this. It's just nonsense. It takes away the power of the user and yeah. So maybe who knows? Maybe I can't even take a screenshot, about this. Let's just. Then you need to ask them what is going on with that, right? And then, oh, that's cameras. Where's the? Oh, that's a good question. Camera. There's a camera. Oh my, yeah, it's just okay. Well, I guess we'll not have the video on RT apparently, and we can't see the website from the other website. I guess I can copy the text, and at least you can look at the text as well, right? I have a video, but of course I can't even show that if I can only show the sound, I guess, or
Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades,
has some problems with the connection here as well.
That means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will. I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
Well, yeah. Well, it's so that was the so-called president of the USA or whatever, another Satanist, the Roman Catholic, even, a clear stinking Roman papist, So yeah, but that goes with the article. So the U.S. president himself says that they would make an end of. So I'm trying to copy this. It's not that easy to make the mobile do what you want, and I guess it's also a very old mobile, as it's. I don't want to support Android, right? I don't want to support Android. I don't want to port. Of course, I don't have the resources anyway. Where did it go? Okay, copy. No, I'm not sure it actually copied all of it. Let's try it out here. There we go. And paste. No, I only took some of it. You gotta be kidding me! You can't even record. Would you just give me a break with the bullshit? Put some kind of security bullshit so you can't even, who knows, maybe you can't take screenshots either, how has that ever been a good thing in regards to the user, So the user is not allowed to take screenshots and blah blah blah, let's see if we can actually get the mobile page. That probably won't change anything in regards of you being able to see it. We can see the menu. Well, great. Let's. Is there like something in regards of opening screen home? Yeah. I don't know what it could be, but I would think it would be like the security, right? But that's already on standard. Is tool ready? Yes, they connected. Blah 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 blah. Config bridge. Well, that shouldn't be anything of that kind. Allow screen. There we go. Maybe that will sort it out. Allow screenshots. That's fine as well. Great. Let's go back. It should be the opposite, There should be. Hopefully it will work. I don't know if it will work. We'll see. I don't see anything on the screen there yet. Nope. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Why wouldn't they just do the opposite? Why do you need to look for? Anyway. So Russia tells EU to treat US as pipeline sabotage suspect. Undersea infrastructure bringing Russia gas directly to Germany was damaged in what many believe to be a clandestine attack or covert attack, right? And again, why would Russia do that, right? And here we have from a Danish F-16 interceptor, we have, that's very, very annoying, this, download the application, no. And we have this menu as well, that is problematic, I guess. Anyway, so that's the whole, but again, I don't know if it wasn't used, then what is bubbling out of it, I don't know. Anyway, but maybe there are some things in it, right? Anyway, gas leaking at Nord Stream 2 seen from a Danish F-16 interceptor. Yeah, Danish defense and blah blah. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova has asked who the EU intends to punish with the strongest possible response for damage to the Nord Stream gas pipeline. The diplomat said Poland's former foreign minister has already identified the US as the party behind the apparent sabotage. Radoslav Sikorski is well connected to Washington elites through his employment at various think tanks, and they're all connected. All these bullshitters are connected. They just work for killing us off, The two Nord Stream pipelines were seriously damaged this week in what is suspected to have been a deliberate attack. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen on Tuesday called the accident sabotage action and warned that any deliberate disruption of active European energy infrastructure is unacceptable and will lead to the strongest possible response. On Wednesday, Zakharova asked who exactly the warning should apply to. I don't get it. MEP Sikorsky thanked the US for what had happened. So whom is Ursula threatening here, she wrote on social media. Zakharova was referring to the reaction to the incident by Sikorsky, now an EU lawmaker, who posted a photo of the site where the explosion occurred on Twitter with the words "Thank you, USA." He described the incident as a special maintenance operation. So ex-Polish FM thanks US for destruction of the... Is there any video here or something like that? Or maybe it's a link for another. Ex-Polish FM thanks US for destruction of Russian gas pipeline. Moscow has called the incident a terrorist attack. While the US, Russia and most European governments had reserved judgment as to who might be behind Monday's explosion that damaged both Nord Stream pipelines, former Polish Foreign Minister Radoslav Sikorski had no such qualms. Thank you, USA, Sikorski tweeted on Tuesday, alongside a photo of the massive gas leak in the waters. But that's but I don't understand if the gas pipeline was not in work. Well, maybe there can still be some gas in it. But anyway, alongside a photo of the massive gas leak in the waters of the Baltic Sea, both pipelines were severely damaged off the coast of the Danish islands of Bornholm in what many now called a deliberate act. Sikorski later tweeted in Polish that damage to the Nord Stream means that Russia will have to talk to the countries controlling the Brotherhood and Yamal gas pipelines, Ukraine and Poland, if it wishes to continue delivering gas to Europe. Good work, he concluded. Okay. Nord Stream 1 and 2 lost all pressure on... Okay, so I guess that must still have... I recall that there less pressure, right, than, if it's compared to when it's functional. I read something about that as well. But anyway, so again, maybe that's was what was seeping, so getting out. So lost all pressure on Monday after what the Swedish and Danish authorities later said were a series of undersea explosions. The first pipeline was operating at reduced capacity after what Russia said were technical difficulties, while the second was fully pressurized but not optional due to German refusal to certify it. So again, okay, so they're pressuring, some kind of pressure in the pipelines, I guess. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova wondered if Sikorski's tweet amounted to an official statement that this was a terrorist attack. Meanwhile, Moscow's deputy ambassador to the UN, Dmitry Polyansky, thanked Sikorski for making it crystal clear who stands behind this terrorist-style targeting of civilian infrastructure. Dmitry Polyansky, thank you, Radikowski, for making it crystal clear who stands behind this terrorist attack. Oh, we lost connection again. Oh, did we? No, we're still on. Okay. Who stands by... Oh, give me a break. Well, we're getting some issues. Behind this terrorist attack style targeting of civilian infrastructure, Nord Stream 2 and Nord Stream. Thank you, US. Well, sorry about the... Can't really do much with, it's typical bullshit of the technology on my things here. Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki didn't go quite as far as Sikorski, but chose to describe the Nord Stream incident as an act of sabotage related to the next step of escalation of the situation in Ukraine. And that's okay. Not just any MEP, Sikorski is a former UK citizen and a fellow of numerous US and NATO think tanks, as well as Poland's former defense and foreign minister. In October 2014, he was caught fabricating a claim about Russian President Vladimir Putin wanting to partition Ukraine with Warsaw and was forced to recant. Sikorsky called Russia a serial rapist in January 2022, and in June told Ukraine's Expresso TV that NATO had the right to give Kyiv nuclear weapons. He is married to American pundit Anna Applebaum, who is also an outspoken foe of Russia. While Sikorsky thanked the US for the Nord Stream sabotage, Kyiv blamed Russia. President Vladimir Zelensky advisor Mikhail Podolyak called it a terrorist attack planned by Russia and an act of aggression towards EU, arguing the best response would be sending German tanks to the Ukrainian army. I saw this video with Ukrainian government guy, and he was like, giving the fault to the Russians, and I like, it doesn't make any sense. And he even speaks about Putin in this TV. He speaks that Putin has said that he's ready to give as much gas that Europe wants. If they would just would remove their sanctions. So why in the world would Russia blow up their own pipelines, that they, move gas, to Europe, they can just close them down if it just doesn't make any sense at all. It makes much more sense that the US with the CIA, the Roman Catholics in action, did it, to further, because they work on both sides. It's a thing of both sides that they do. They just want to kill us off. The governments are not for the people, they're against the people. When governments begins to war with Rome, it just goes downhill. We become the enemy. And we are the enemy. And that's how they do it. They kill us off. They make us kill us off, It's just stupid to take, either if you're on one side or the other side, to take up arms is just bullshit, It just it doesn't make any sense. You're just taking part in this Roman Inquisition, clothed in war, And it's just disgusting. It's filthy. Go to Jesus, Cling to Jesus. Speak the truth about Jesus Christ's salvation, dying once and for all for the sins of the world, And not all those fakers with their idols and images and cookies and all that. Just stick with Jesus, and throw the bullshitters in the bin. Anyway, so let's go back to this article of the first article, right? Sikorsky added that there's no shortage of pipeline capacity for taking gas from Russia to Western Europe, including Germany, referring to the Yamal Europe land pipeline that goes through Belarus and Poland. After the damage to the Nord Stream strings, Russian President Vladimir Putin will have to talk to countries controlling the alternative route to resume supplies, he predicted. But again, apparently, as far as I understand it, those two supplies lines was not even operational at the point of exploding them, right? But of course, in the winter and all that, when Europe might want to have some gas, who knows? But anyway, it becomes a little difficult because they're blown up. It seems to me that Russia was more than prepared to give gas to Europe if they would just remove the sanctions, right? But I guess that would be then paying Russia that could use the resources for more war. So it's kind of yeah. But anyway, now of course that option is, at least through those two lines, is taken off the table, I guess, for now at least. I would think that it wouldn't be that difficult to fix, but what do I know? I don't know in regards to the death of Wad, but they should be able to take it up or something like that and fix it pretty quickly, I would think. But whatever. So Saga, if they wanted, because, of course, if they don't want, they will, of course, say it's very difficult to make it and blah blah blah, right? If they just want to kill us and make suffering to us and all that, they can come up with that bullshit things and all that. Anyway, Sakharova earlier asked if Sarkozy tweets amounted to an official statement that this was a terrorist attack. Meanwhile, Dmitry Polynsky, the Russian deputy ambassador to the UN, thanked Sarkozy for making it crystal clear who stands behind this terror-style targeting of civilian infrastructure. There was no shortage of threats from some Western nations against Russian undersea pipelines, particularly the Nord Stream 2, both before and after late February, when Moscow sent troops into Ukraine. It had been ready to pump gas since September last year, but was not put into operation due to Germany's refusal to certify it. Both President Andrzej Duda demanded last month that the pipeline be totally scrapped. US President Joe Biden warned in early February, before Russia began its military operations in Ukraine, that if Moscow acts against Kyiv, there will be no longer be a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it. A journalist asked him to clarify what exactly he meant, to which Biden responded, "I promise you we will be able to do that." And we have the video in regards to that, and of course now we might be able to see it. ABC News. President Biden, if Russia invades, then there will be no longer Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it. Reporter. But how will you do that exactly, since the project is in Germany's control? I promise you we will be able to do that. Well, of course, Germany, of course, is run by the US since World War II. And of course, the US are controlled by Rome. And of course, all the roads pretty much leads back to Rome. It's the Roman Empire. Anyway.
Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
But how will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will. I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
Yeah, so there he just says it, black on white, I guess, So who did it, Oh, that's 2.2 thousand replies to that, I guess. I wonder if that's come more after after they did it, And then they will tell people, well, the conspiracy theorists, believe that it was the US, right? Okay. Well, where it's leading to is like the 3 buildings blowing up and only 2 planes hitting it, right? But that was one guy on YouTube. He was rather funny about it. He knew about the 9/11 as well, so he must have been one of those people waking up at that point. I don't know, but of course he could have looked into it later. But he was talking about, maybe they will find a Russian passport in vanilla condition or whatever, in print condition, and some vodka bottles and all that in regards of who, it must be the Russians, right? So here we have and I don't know how many, but I don't have Twitter and all that. But there it is from Twitter anyway, from ABC News. I just find it disgusting in a so-called free world that the people are banned, are locked out from from sources from RT.com. There's always two sides of what do you call it? There's always two sides of the same thing, right? And then the third one, which is the right, which is the truth, right? So you can hear it from two different sources, right? And then you can figure out the truth from that, always bullshit, propaganda, nonsense, and all that. So there we go. Let's see if we can maybe take a picture of it. Maybe we can put this, and there we go. So we can.
Let me answer the first question first.
Uh-oh.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of.
There we go. And we can just put it on Gab, I guess, if I can find the. But of course, Gab is full of Roman papists, and the Roman Catholics are really on the move these days. And well, I guess they have been on the move for a long time, right? But if you point out Rome or the Jesuits, the Roman agents and the defiled bullshitters and all that, they will just try anything and claim it's the Jews. That's all they can figure out to do. It's the Jews, but the Jews are in control and blah. The Jews are not in control. You gotta be kidding me. You have some Jews that are working for the Roman Empire. It's not the Jews that are in control. You gotta be kidding me. What does the Bible say, right? It's just typical. So anyway, let's see here if we got a good picture on Gap. There we go. So, it was smelling fishy already from the beginning. You could see there was something clearly wrong here. And then you saw this Ukraine guy from the Ukraine parliament talking about, it's the Russians, and that doesn't make any sense. And he even talks about, that Putin was talking about, we're ready to send you, as much gas as you want, as long as you just, fix those, which I can't remember the name of, what is it called? Sanctions. Oh yeah. If you just lift the sanctions, you can get as much gas as you want, right? Anyway, so why would he blow it up? Doesn't make, why would Russia blow their own transportation or pipeline to Germany? It doesn't make any sense. Makes zero sense. Absolutely zero sense. By the way, in regards of Germany being under control of the U.S., there was this reporter who is now dead that made a book on that in regards of how they got orders from the CIA in regards of what articles, either writing or getting the full article and just setting their name on it and so forward, So, after World War II, well, it's getting closer to the month. That would be interesting. Well, I could also just go out and do some dumpster diving, I guess. Would also be pretty good, and get some food. Walk a little around and see if I can find some good dumpster diving. It's just something. I don't know. That's a possibility anyway. Take a bag and go for some dumpster goodies. So the Russian army is in trouble. Full Jake Sullivan interview.
Jake Sullivan. Mr. Sullivan, welcome back to Meet the Press.
There we go. So where did the Tor browser go? Okay. So here we have it. That's from RT.com. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken commented on the accident on Tuesday, stating that attacking Russian pipelines was in no one's interest. Oh, really? Yeah, I guess this guy just, was a Roman Catholic, but they're all, papist control puppets, and they're not for the people. Let's see. NATO member wants devastating retaliation against Russia. EU may soften anti-Russia sanctions. Political Russian teams quit iconic rally after refusing to denounce homeland. But yeah, all this war thing is just, it's just sad, Oh, the great Bill Gates, right? That murderer and software bullshitter, Did the US blow up the North Pole here? Of course, that's Tucker. I guess this is the alternative media, so again, they still don't talk about Jesus Christ much as far as... but let's see what it talks, They still hide the real truth in some sense. So they just keep people occupied, like, I guess, at the moment, while wasting things here, and myself. They just keep you occupied with these secondary things, which of course are more true than the mainstream, but yeah. When you as a person find out that it's deeply corrupt, but then they will lead you into the satanic candy store of Satan, right? The devil will lead you, and then the devil will try to use the truth for the lies, for leading you into darkness and away from Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's see. Tucker Carlson did I guess they might have taken that a little out of context, didn't they? When you look at this, in regards to where was it? Did it remove itself after going in? It seems so. So just because I pushed it, it was removed? What other garbage, As far as I recall, it just said, it took it out of context. Anyway, let's see here. Because it only said, did the US blow up the Nord Stream? Of course. And then it stopped, didn't they? Well, of course, I can see the video and check it out. But it says, of course, we're blaming Putin. It doesn't say, of course. It says, of course. But then again, both sides are bullshitters, It doesn't matter which side. They're all bullshitters, You have to, it helps when you have both sides to make up the conclusion of the real facts, But, yeah, apparently we're not allowed in the West to have access to the other side of information. Apparently. I thought Fox News. Okay. Let's see if it's going to play anything. I don't know how it will work from YouTube in regards of...
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson.
Oops. Something came. Okay. Could we get some more? I don't care about the quality, just give me the... it's still loading clearly.
Carlson, tonight you hate to start a Tuesday evening on a grim note, but...
And then it stops again. This is not totally And it's even on the low.
one of the
Oh well. Maybe we can just take it from
environmental catastrophes, one of the great environmental catastrophes of our time, is unfolding tonight off the coast of Denmark. The Nord Stream pipelines, which are enormous Russian-owned conduits that carry natural gas from Russia to Western Europe, have been breached. As we speak, Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 are pouring millions of cubic meters of natural gas into the Baltic Sea. Pictures from the air, which you can now see on your screen, show a toxic bubble field more than half a mile wide. You can only guess at how many marine mammals are being killed right now, countless. But the lasting damage may be to the atmosphere. Natural gas is comprised of up to 90% methane. Methane, as Joe Biden has often told you, is the key driver of global warming, which is, of course, an existential threat to humanity and the planet. So if you're worried about climate change, what just happened to the Nord Stream pipelines is as close to the apocalypse as we have ever come.
Oh, give me a
So the
break.
question is, how did this happen? And it turns out it was not an accident.
What kind of bullshit is this guy? He's like, oh, the whole world just, oh my, global warming, that's the Roman agenda. All this green agenda that goes back to Rome. Anyway, what a bullshitter.
At the very same time that leaks in these pipelines were detected, Swedish officials recorded 2 powerful undersea explosions, each one of which was equivalent to hundreds of pounds of TNT. Nothing in nature can account for that. Almost immediately, the pipelines began leaking in 3 separate places. So there's only one explanation for what happened. This was an act of industrial terrorism. That was very obvious to the Prime Minister of Poland, and he wasted no time in saying so. Watch.
Today, we are also dealing with an act of sabotage. We do not know the details of what happened yet, but we can clearly see that it is an act of sabotage, an act that probably marks the next stage in the escalation of the situation we are dealing with in Ukraine.
We can clearly see, he said, this was an act of sabotage, an act of terrorism. Well, yes, we can see that. So the question is who did it, and of course the prime suspect is obvious. It would be the same man who caused domestic inflation here in the U.S. and stole the 2016 election from Hillary Clinton. That'd be Vladimir V. Putin. The Washington Post got right to it. Putin, they declared, is now weaponizing the Nord Stream pipelines.
Kind of bullshit. I don't know if he's spinning this or whatever, but let's hope he does instead of... is Putin fully weaponizing the Nord Stream pipelines? You know, just give me a break with the bullshit, you know?
According to the Canadian ambassador to the UN, Vladimir Putin has decided to use, quote, pollution as an act of war. Progressive Twitter strongly endorsed this conclusion. Putin did it. And that makes sense until you thought about it for just a moment. Vladimir Putin may be evil. They tell us that he is evil.
Just think about it like the very instant, you know, that you hear that the gas pipelines come from Russia going to Germany and they have control of them and it makes zero sense for them to destroy. And then you have the US president saying that they are willing to be able to take things, you know, just give me a break, you know.
Stupid? Probably isn't stupid. And yet, and here's the strange part, if you are Vladimir Putin, you would have to be a suicidal moron to blow up your own energy pipelines. That's the one thing you would never do. Natural gas pipelines are the main source of your power and your wealth, and most critically, your leverage over other countries. Europe needs your energy, now more than ever with winter approaching. If you can't deliver that energy, then countries like Germany have no need to pay attention to what you want. You're in the middle of a war, an all-hands-on-deck war, so you need all the leverage you can get. Under these circumstances, there is no chance you would blow up Nord Stream 1 or 2. Not now, obviously. In fact, it's so obvious that even our famously dim Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, seemed to acknowledge it. Sabotaging Nord Stream, he said today, is, quote, clearly in no one's interest. Right, but really only half right. It is true that blowing up Nord Stream does not help Vladimir Putin. He would not do that. Why would he? But that doesn't mean that other countries wouldn't consider doing it. They would consider it, and we know they have considered it because at least one of them has said so in public. In early February, less than 3 weeks before the war in Ukraine began, Joe Biden suggested on camera that he might take out these pipelines. Watch.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
Notice how he phrased that. And he's the president. Doesn't phrase things by accident, particularly when he's reading off cards. He didn't say, I will pause the delivery of gas from Russia to Germany. He said, there won't be a Nord Stream 2. We'll put an end to it. We'll take it out. We'll blow it up. How will you do this? He was asked. I promise you we will be able to do it. They thought this through. And yet those watching, very much including us, didn't take Biden seriously when he said it. This is the president who has declared climate change the most pressing emergency in the history of the world. This is the man who lectures you about using a wood stove or driving an SUV because of its emissions. This is the guy who spent billions trying to mitigate cow flatulence because methane. Would that guy really blow up a methane pipeline in the middle of the Baltic Sea? It was hard to imagine. That would be an unimaginably reckless act. That'd be the kind of thing you would do if you wanted to start a nuclear war. It would be insane. And yet, in retrospect, it's obvious they were thinking about this because Joe Biden wasn't the only person to suggest it. Toria Nuland at the State Department said pretty much the very same thing. Nuland is a lifelong war cheerleader. She worked to bring about the Iraq invasion, never apologized, kept going. She helped engineer the coup that overthrew the Ukrainian government some years back. So clearly she's capable of anything. But environmental terrorism, even for Toria Nuland, that seemed too much, too extreme. And yet here she is in January.
With regard to Nord Stream 2, we continue to have very strong and clear conversations with our German allies, and I want to be clear with you today. If Russia invades Ukraine, one way or another, Nord Stream 2 will not move forward.
One way or the other, we'll stop Nord Stream. Now, looking back, those words seem chilling 8 months later as natural gas pours into the Baltic Sea and into the atmosphere. So you have to ask, could the Biden administration really do something like this? We can't say for sure. We don't know for sure. We can tell you that close allies of the Biden White House believe they certainly did do it. Radek Sikorski is a Polish politician. He's chairman of the EU-USA delegation in the European Parliament. He's connected. He's also the husband of regime stenographer Ann Applebaum of The Atlantic magazine. Sikorski is so close to Joe Biden that he's got a picture of the two of them together in his Twitter profile. So when the pipelines blew up, Sikorski responded immediately, and here's what he wrote. Thank you, USA. So once again, did the Biden administration really do this? It's hard to believe. Given that it's an atrocity, it's effectively an act of terrorism, we don't want to make that accusation. But we should tell you that, maybe not coincidentally, today a brand new pipeline was unveiled, a pipeline that carries non-Russian natural gas in roughly the same area as Nord Streams 1 and 2. This is called the Baltic Pipe. It was inaugurated in Poland. It will carry natural gas from Norway through Denmark to Poland and other countries nearby. And it's likely to do very well since now it has less competition. Making sense? What does the White House say about this? How are they accounting for what happened today? Well, they're not exactly enthusiastically denying responsibility for it. Instead, they're looking at the upside. Here's the president's publicist noting that the destruction of yet another energy pipeline is yet another opportunity for you to buy an electric car.
As you all know, these pipelines weren't pumping gas into Europe at this time. NS2 was never operational, as you guys know. NS1 has not been operational for weeks because Putin has weaponized energy, and we have said this many times before. This just drives home the importance of our efforts to work together to get alternative gas supplies to Europe and to support efforts to reduce gas consumption and accelerate true energy independence by moving to clean energy economy.
moving to clean energy, say the people who very may well be responsible for letting methane into the Baltic Sea and into the atmosphere at a scale that most people can't imagine. The people lecturing you about your SUV may have blown up a natural gas pipeline and created one of the great catastrophes of our time in its effect on the environment. If they did this, this will be one of the craziest, most destructive things any American administration has ever done. But it would also be totally consistent with what they do. What do? They destroy. These people build nothing, not one thing. Instead, they tear down and they desecrate, from historic statues to the Constitution to energy infrastructure. And no one in Congress is trying to stop any of it. They're just preparing for the inevitable fallout. Tonight, the Senate just advanced a spending bill with $35 million for the Department of Energy to, quote, prepare for and respond to potential nuclear and radiological incidents in Ukraine. What? The spending bill also brings the total U.S. expenditure on Ukraine, the war, but also funding its government and energy for Ukraine, to $67 billion on the eve of what could be a massive economic disruption. Here, to our economy, $67 billion. How much is that? Well, it's more than Russia's entire military budget last year. And Congress is expected to fully pass the bill later this week, with Republicans nodding along like the zombies they are. What will be the effect of this? Every action has a reaction, equal and opposite. Blow up the Nord Stream pipelines? Okay, we've entered a new phase, one in which the United States is directly at war with the largest nuclear power in the world. Doesn't mean it'll go nuclear immediately, but it does suggest there could be consequences. If we actually blew up the Nord Stream pipelines, why wouldn't Russia sever undersea internet cables? What would happen if they did that? What would happen if banks in London couldn't communicate with banks in New York? Just that one piece of it, leaving aside its potential effects on our power grid. But let's just say the banks couldn't communicate with each other for one day. What would the economic effect of that be? Oh, we would cascade downward into your house. We could have an actual collapse. We could wind up very quickly in third world conditions. Those are the stakes. Have the people behind this, the geniuses like Toria Nuland, considered the effects? Maybe they have. Maybe that was the point. Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing.
Well, that wasn't too bad, you know. There's a good amount of truth coming on the table in regards to who probably did it, you know. Most likely, most certainly, I think. It was the US or the CIA, you know. They usually are the ones that are doing depraved things, and Roman Catholics in action. CIA Catholics in action. It's incredible how they did, you know, how we don't see the, you know, these issues coming from them, and how much wicked evil they do in this world. So I guess that was from that website, and if I want to get to that website, I guess I need to use this onion thing, or what is it, Tor, you know. Sadly, they don't have the, I don't think they have the setting for the tabs. Oh yeah, they have. Oh my, that is, that would be absolutely awesome if it, okay, they're still using the new modern browser nonsense of something like this coming up. It's just nonsense, you know. Instead of just the good old working thing on my other browser. Let's see if we can, so slow here too. Yeah, this is much better, much better. You know, if it works, don't fix it, right? But programmers love to ruin things, you know. That's what they do. They love to make silly, stupid, bullshit things instead of just, you know, continuing with this. You know, it worked wonderful. There was no problem. But no, you know, they had to redo things apparently to... Why? What was wrong with this version, you know? that actually work wonderful. You can move up and it's very smooth and all that. No, 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 no. We don't want that, right? We want something depraved nonsense, as you can also see in Thor. You know, they have this nonsense of the of this thing going up and down. Why? Why do you need that? I just need the full thing so I can look, you know. But no. Let's not do that, right? Let's not have it smooth. Like, no, let's have this bullshit. I need to. I'm sick and tired. So yeah, and they just force you to use, you know, because the other one is not getting updated anymore, right? This one. Well, I'm still using it. Just still working okay, you know. Although this hard to get the plugins for it. I did have some plugins that I don't have anymore for it because I can't find them anymore for it. So, but anyway, that was RT. Again, it doesn't matter which side, pretty much. They're both working for they're all working for the Roman Empire. As long as they can keep the war going, you can kill people off in a Roman Inquisition, calling it war, you know. Kremlin says Nord Stream explosion a big problem for Russia. Let's see here. Let's open that one. I guess it's all in private tabs or whatever. And how do I then? Alright. Okay. He said open up fully this time. But anyway, let's see here. And this is also one of these annoying things, that things are not loaded in the background, you know. Are you kidding me? That was the whole idea of tabs. That they, you know, loaded in the background. So when you wanted to see them, they were finished loading, right? Kremlin says Nord Stream explosions are a big problem for Russia. Damage to the natural gas pipelines will bring nothing but ruin for both Russia and EU, says spokesperson Dmitry Peskov. This handout picture released on September 27, 2022 by the Danish Defense Command shows the gas leak at the Nord Stream 2 gas pipelines as it is seen from the Danish Defense F-16 rejection response of the Danish Baltic Island of Bornholm, south of the Oedo and so forward. Yeah, well. The Kremlin has denounced as stupid and absurd any allegations of it being behind the suspected explosions of the Nord Stream natural gas pipelines earlier this week, stating that the incident actually creates many issues for Russia. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to... why would Russia destroy their own pipe? You know, this doesn't make any sense. Speaking to journalists on Wednesday, spokesperson Dmitry Peskov explained that the damage to the pipelines posed a big problem for Russia as it had essentially lost its gas supply routes to Europe. Both lines of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline were pumped full of gas and were prepared to deliver it to Europe at the time that the alleged explosion said. So both lines of Nord Stream 2 pipeline were pumped full of gas and were prepared to deliver it to Europe at the time of the alleged explosion, said Peskov, adding that this gas is very expensive and now is all going up in the air. Peskov also noted that either Russia nor Europe had anything to gain from the destruction of the pipelines, especially Germany, for which this incident poses a threat to the future development of its industry, as well as its profitability and competitiveness. I still think they could pretty much fix those pipes pretty quickly. But anyway, American LNG suppliers, on the other hand, have been making incredible profits after having multiplied their deliveries to the European continent. Pesco pointed out, adding that these companies are very interested in maintaining these super duper profits in the future. While no suspects behind the incident have officially been named, the Kremlin spokesperson advised against making any official announcement before proper investigation into the incident is carried out. I think some of the UN, you can see the, although you can't see it in this picture, but you see the typical Roman Catholic symbolic, nonsense of disgust. Anyway, Pesco did, however, draw attention to the U.S. President Joe Biden's statement from early February when the American leader threatened to bring an end to Nord Stream 2. What the U.S. President meant by that, we don't know, admitted the Kremlin official, but highlighted the borderline insane historical euphoric reaction of Polish officials who have already thanked Washington for sabotaging the pipeline. Yeah. The Kremlin's response came after some European and Kyiv officials, including President Vladimir Zelensky's advisor Mikhail Podolyak, suggested that the attack on the pipeline was a false flag operation carried out by Russia in order to make Ukraine look bad and to further drive energy prices up in the EU. However, after the former Polish FM publicly thanked the US for the apparent sabotage on Twitter, Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova urged the EU to treat the US as the possible culprit behind the attacks on the Nord Stream pipelines. She said Moscow would call for a UN Security Council session over the incident. A number of Western nations have repeatedly opposed Russia undersea pipelines delivering gas to Europe, both before and after Moscow launched its military operation in Ukraine. The recently built Nord Stream 2 network, which never went into operation due to Germany's refusal to certify it, has drawn particular opposition from countries like the US and Poland, which has called for the pipeline to be totally scrapped. Talking about that is actually pretty cold at the moment. NATO member wants devastating retaliation against Russia. Well, maybe this one? No. Why is it saying... Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, interesting that you need a browser like Tor to get on. Sick and tired of society, you know, all the insanity of closing websites down and oh, we live in a free world where we can't get access to the news from Russia. Okay. What a free world. Without circumventing things, you know. Well, I guess, you know, they killed off the mink in Denmark, right? So let's kill the Danish people as well, right? Kill some more people, right? You know, this world is so wicked. Anyway. Why in the world do people believe these leaders, so-called leaders, these so-called bullshitters? We have Nord Stream damage might be irreparable. I don't think, you know, if they wanted to fix it, they could fix it. I don't think it would be. Yeah, it's just some tubes, right? So they should be able to fix it. Yeah, but you know, we're still only talking about some pipeline, right? You know, so give me a break. If the damage is not repaired quickly enough, too much salt, deep seawater could get into the pipes lying at the bottom of the Baltic Sea and irreversible corrode them. German officials have warned, according to the news media outlet. Denmark said on Wednesday that its authorities would be able to launch a probe into the issue no sooner than in a week or two due to safety concerns, Tegels added. The media outlet does not mention any plans for repair work by either Russia or Germany. A group of senior German MPs were quick to point the finger at Russia and blame Moscow for the incident. An attack on the energy supply infrastructure is intended to spread fear and terror. Roderick Kaiserwader, a German MP and spokesman for crisis prevention for the Conservative Union parliamentary group, told the RND media group. Read more. CIA warned Germany of pipeline attack. Yeah, wouldn't that be a surprise that we have something with Catholics in action? You know? Oh, what happened here? Open. There we go. CIA warned Germany of pipeline attack. U.S. spies allegedly told Berlin about a threat to Nord Stream weeks ago. Oh yeah, is that a surprise? Yeah, the world loves war and bullshit, you know. So sad. Anyway, I'll turn it off. It's getting pretty cold, you know. Anyway, may Jehovah be with you, and Yeshua, most precious pearl, and the spirit of truth in us all. Amen.